Great chance here! That does it! Steve McGavin! And for the first time, Colchester United have won a major final.
Still Garcia, finally the company arrives and it's in! It's a freak out goal from Ricardo Carvalho. Richard Garcia wants the credit and the shock is on at the bridge.
And it's promotion for Colchester United. They've made it into the Championship for the first time in 69 years.
Porter, actually being held. There is Porter, and it's Maka!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Barside, the podcast that covers everything Colchester United. I am Aaron J. Big thank you to those tuning in over on Apple, Spotify and YouTube. You're doing us a big favour there, but no bigger favour than those sharing the podcast over on social media, over on X, Instagram and Facebook. And it's been a bit of a disappointing week for the U's, in all honesty, as the U's fell 4-3 away to Salford, squandering a 3-1 lead. No game for the women's side, but an opportunity to get involved as they are seeking a social media lead, details for which will be on the screen now, sort of here, I hope. And it's an opportunity to join one of the fastest growing grassroots sides in the region. And it is a slightly different podcast today as we are having one long conversation. It's not going to be broken into short chunks, and we're going to reflect on that Salford game and look ahead to Newport as we were joined by EFL expert Gab Sutton. And Gab is a fountain of knowledge when it comes to the EFL, as shown in his podcast EFL Debate and via his punditry work for BBC Squad Goals, and he's done loads of stuff freelance across multiple platforms. We were very privileged for Gab to join us. So without further ado, please welcome Gab Sutton. Welcome back to Beyond the Barside. It is time to reflect on our previous fixture, which is I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be quite a lot to say as the U's fell 4-3 away at Salford. I'm joined as ever by Si, Dave, and this week we're joined by Gab Sutton. For those of you that don't know, Gab is a very well-respected EFL journalist and analyst. We're very privileged to have you, Gab. Thank you very much. We'll start with you. Pre-season, you predicted that Col U would finish third, and it got a lot of people excited. As we're sort of nearing the new year, how much has your assessment changed about Colchester?
Well, it hasn't. It hasn't. Obviously, you know, when you're 12th instead of third, that you obviously sort of recalibrate things a little bit. But on the other hand, I think that the automatic promotion race in League Two, as well as the playoff scramble, they're all sort of entwined in one, aren't they? It's so tight. And so I think that means that there's anyone even going right into the bottom half that still have a chance for the top three. So I wouldn't be willing to kind of draw segments, if you like, in League Two just yet. And I think Colchester can still, you put a great run in the second half of last season, didn't you? And I still think that you've got a chance of coming on strong. So not everything you'd hoped, but certainly real potential. And what I would say is that front four, whether you'd call it a front four, but I probably would be from my point of view, with Kyrie Slisby, Samson Davide becoming a bit of a stalwart now, isn't he? Micah Bick, who I did tip up when he signed on from on loan from Charlton, and Harry Anderson, who's been in really good form as well. So I think those four are the ones that I feel like, they can do something.
Yeah, definitely. We're very positive going forward. And I think that reflected in the beginning of yesterday's game, Si. I mean, the U's went 3-1 up. Harry Anderson, as Gab's already mentioned, and then LSE and Dolo and Arthur Reed. I mean, what did you make of that opening spell?
So I think, obviously, we started off how we expected, quite on the front foot, got ourselves ahead. Harry Anderson, yet again, proving why so many people harp on about following the ball into the box. Reed hits the post, comes back out. Anderson's the right place, the right time. I don't think people give him enough credit, actually, for the amount of work he does in regards to following the ball in and being in the right place at the right time. Unfortunately, then we did gift them an equaliser, and the first half, I don't know what Dave thinks, but I think it was a lot of nothing. There was a lot of there was quite a bit of football, but there wasn't really any sort of overly clear-cut chances. We think, one side's on the top, one side's better than the other. It's very much a case of, right, we've got into the break, it's 1-1. Let's see how we go. And obviously then the game did explode in the second half of Ellis getting his goal. Yet again, right place, right time, the ball deflects back to him, puts it back in the net. Then for our third Embick, does well to try and close the keeper down. Good little bit of play from Sampson, very calm on the ball. Didn't rush anything, looks up, found Reed, bang, 3-1 up, 2 goals to good. Yeah, I think the what followed, we'll talk about that later on, but up until that point, we were pretty much good for the 3 points. We should have been in control of the game. We were a bit worried we went 2-1 up. Do we know we needed to settle down and just control the game for the next 10 minutes? By adding a third goal in that time, it's like brilliant. That's one way to respond. Add another one. And it was an ideal away performance. If only the game lasted 57 minutes. If football was 57 minutes, it would have been a brilliant away day. It was just the bit that follows doesn't quite help.
Yeah, the bit that follows is obviously the bit that lots of Hughes fans are sort of reflecting on more so than the beginning. Dave, we're 3-1 up away from home. I mean, what should the game management look like? I mean, where did Colchester fall short in your view?
Well, I think it's really hard to say. I mean, I've been pondering this all day, and so much happened in this game. But I'm still not sure what to say about it. I can't really explain it. It was almost, but I think after that, it was almost. So there were a couple of points in the games where we did lose a bit of control. So after they equalised, that seemed to shake us a bit.
Can I just ask you a question on that, actually, Dave? Do you think one possibility is maybe the depth? Because if I look at the substitutions that Danny Cowley made, there were 2 subs he made on 77 minutes, and then the other 3 were right at the end of the game. So and I think that might have been to chase an equaliser. So
yeah, it was.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, does that suggest that maybe Danny Cowley doesn't have a huge amount of confidence in the players in reserve right now?
I don't. To be honest, the team we had yesterday, so the bench yesterday was a strong bench. So
yeah, actually, I looked at the name.
Lisby was on the bench, and I don't think he started. I think that's a combination of. So he's, as you're probably aware, Gab, he is so far ahead of schedule.
Yes,
and he played 14 or 15 games. Started 14 or 15 games in a row. Aaron. Yeah. And the league know about him now, and especially said the last 3 or 4 weeks he's been getting battered from pillar to post. He injured his shoulder the week before last, and he sort of limited him a little bit last week. And so I think that was a case of Danny just sort of trying to manage him. One thing I did think, once they got the second goal, which is just a bad goal all round, free header from a set piece that could have been avoided. I thought we need to get some control, and with Jack Payne's obviously on the bench, who's tailor-made for that. But I think the fact he's coming back from a muscle injury, it's his first game back. He's only been full training for a week. I think because that pitch, a soft pitch that gives way, I think Danny was protecting him from that. That's what I personally think. Could be completely off there. But I think that was in his mind. And we got games coming up. So Newport next week. The way I imagine they're going to play, we're going to need Jack Payne putting some strings in the 10. So, and it does. So the bench, yes, they're actually quite strong, but yeah. So the midfield options we had, because Teddy Bishop, he's just come back from injury. I think Danny mentioned in the interview after he's been ill this week as well.
Yeah.
So he played, and then
can I just interject? Sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting a bit. I don't really. But I think also Teddy Bishop, he's someone historically in his career has had been on and off with injury. So I imagine Danny's quite keen.
Well, ultimately, that's why he's playing for us.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah.
and he is a quality player. He's and him and Arthur Reed there were questions about whether they could play together, but they've really grown as the season's gone on, and our good form has coincided with them working really well together. So, but yeah, so we never really got that control, and then I mean, we'll probably speak a little bit about it, but I think we all have concerns about Dominic Gape and whether he's really at the level. On a number of WhatsApp chats I'm on, including ours, the phrase Woodyard 2.0, not just by me, it wasn't ours, was noted down. So yeah, we did, and we do suffer there a little bit. But I thought ultimately it was sort of a bit of a death by 1,000 cuts. We give away a bad free kick. Also, the first goal, it was a mistake. Teddy Bishop, didn't see the man behind him, tried to turn away from one man, ran into another, gives the ball away. It happens. Teddy Bishop came back really well. He really put a shift in after that. He didn't hide. So credit to him for that. Second goal, didn't have to give the free kick away. And then they make 4 subs, and you can see it scrambled the back four's brains. And that's why they get a free header from 8 yards in the box. So 2 errors there for that goal. And the third goal, I mean, it's decisions, like little decisions. Rob Hunt, it's been a bit over the top, the stick he's got, but at the same time, I think he's an experienced player now. He's got to make the decision to, right, that cross has been overhit. Just stop. Don't go anywhere near him. And Danny Cowley was right in what he said, that you don't know if that's going to be given or not. Some refs, some will, some refs won't. But ultimately, he's grabbed the guy. He's given the ref the decision to make. And then the fourth goal, there was Lisby and Gape sort of discussed, didn't they, about who was going to stay with the man out wide. And as soon as Lisby went in, they made their decision when it was Dominic Gape up against the wide man. Right, we're going that way. Then we switch off. Then we switch off for the ball in the box, cut back. It's a great shot. I mean, it's absolutely ripper into the corner, but just a combination of little decisions, miscalculations that ultimately cost us. And you are right, Gab. There's, in the crucial area in the middle of the pitch, we do lack depth at the moment. We got long-term injuries, or Ben Perry, who we signed on a 3-year deal, huge hopes for. Rex's knee,
didn't he?
Yeah, Rex's knee in the 4th game of the season at Shrewsbury. So he asked him for the season. And Gape, I mean, and again, a caveat. We always try and be fair. A caveat for Gape: we've only ever seen him making a comeback from injury. That's the only state we've ever seen him play in. But there's. It's an issue, I think, the strength and depth there, but ultimately, lots of little errors combined to one crushing defeat. And I think the wider footballing world, I think, owes us a favour. I'm pretty sure that's the first ever decent 12:30 kickoff.
For at least on Sky Sports Plus.
So no, we can be proud of that.
Yeah, it really was a strange game to watch. And Gab, from a wider League 2 perspective, how concerning is it to score 3 away from home and still lose the game?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think in terms of individual games, Salford are a team who I think are going to be up there. Very impressed with them this year. So right, listen, it's League 2, isn't it? There's going to be some difficult results. I just wanted to ask the panel: do you think you're maybe missing a slightly different profile in midfield? Maybe a more of a physical type who can be a bit more combative and break things up? Because I suppose Dave mentioned that Arthur Reed and Teddy Bishop have played well together, But as we've mentioned, Bishop might not be able to play 90 minutes every week, and certainly for midweeks because of his, fitness history. But then also, I'm wondering, does it need that more physical, tenacious enforcer type just to offer a bit of balance? Because neither Bishop nor Reed look to me, at least, as being particularly physical profile.
Well, that's what Perry was brought in for.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's
to replace Jamie McDonald. Ding, 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 ding.
I think that's the big thing. Like, you've hit the nail on the head there, Dave. The plan for the season was going to be Perry was going to probably look to be more of a regular in the midfield, and then we'd swap Bishop and Reed depending on the opposition, depending on what type of game we wanted to play. But obviously, due to Perry's injury, that's obviously then forced the hand where we've then obviously had to start those two together. And to be fair, it's probably the first time we've had them where we've actually played them well together. That's because obviously we've got Payne playing where he plays. But yes, before Perry got injured, you could see that it was starting to click with him as the sort of combative, I'm going to be everywhere on the pitch, win the balls, give the ball to someone else, and then to do something else with it kind of thing. So I think we had that. It's just, yet again, we've been hit by the injuries. And the other option is we have got probably one of the most exciting young midfielders in the league who, for some reason, doesn't seem to be getting the bench. And to me, I'd put Ronnie Harvey on over Dom Gate because, yes, he's young. Yes, there's still question marks over his physicality in the men's game. The only way he's going to sort of prove that is to get game time. And, well, he's got pace. He would have run at players. He would have created space. He would have actually made stuff happen rather than Gates just seems to want to, don't know, look lost.
Milton O'Neill, sorry.
Well, he's coming back from a serious injury, almost the same injury that Perry's got now.
Yeah,
so he's just being eased back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think one thing...
Sorry,
go on, Gab.
Sorry, just to clarify, who's the young lad that you're referring to there?
Perry. So Perry's got a serious injury. Milton O'Neill had the same injury last season. So
the one at the guy
coming back.
The one I'm referring to is Ronnie Harvey.
Thank you. Right. Okay.
Yeah, Ronnie Harvey. So he's come up for a youth system. He started. I think he came to sort of the fore in pre-season where he's jumps up from the 21s into the first team squad for pre-season, and he looked very, very comfortable. Although he's only 17, he looked at season pro, got on with the first team, got into his game, did well. So personally, I'd be looking to play him a lot more than Dom Gape.
Yeah, but one thing we will say, so you are right, Gab, in what you're saying, but the good form we've shown and the improvement in the way Bishop and Arthur Reed play is because Arthur Reed has really developed his sort of number 6 skill set. So he's really just sort of taken that responsibility. So he's doing a lot more of that stuff. But it's not his natural game, but he can do it. I mean, he's happy to put a foot in. And when he does win it, he can. There's not many teams in League Two who have a destroyer who can play the sort of passes he can.
Yeah.
So it's a bit. We are lacking depth there, but
I think it's an area that we probably will be looking for in January, picking someone up in that central midfield role, in that more 6 role that Dave alluded to there. I think we'll potentially tap into the loan market. I know Danny didn't seem too keen looking at a lot of the free agents that were available in August and September to pick many of those up. But I do think it's an area that, we've had Rob Hunt come in and have to do a job because we've not had the players available. Dominic Gape, wasn't quite up to it yesterday, in a manner of speaking. Is he fully fit? Ronnie Harvey picked up a knock earlier on in the season. We're not 100% sure whether he's being protected. Milton O'Neill's come back from an ACL injury and he's being eased into it. So it's a case of we've got some great players that can play in that position. They're not available to play. So I think the loan market is probably going to be our friend in sort of plugging that gap. It's just whether parent clubs are willing to let their players go and maybe not get the full 90 minutes straight off the bat,
Would you have Jay Mingy back, Aaron?
Oh,
I really liked him.
Yeah.
Someone that got brought up as well was Finley Barbarek, who's just been sent back to Ipswich from Lincoln, who potentially could slot into that role. Bit less experienced than Jay Mingy. I'd like to see. I mean, Jay
Normally
Mingy just gets the.
35-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nice to have a player from Ipswich that isn't just getting weighed in. It'd be really nice. But yeah, I mean, I like Mingy, and the versatility that Mingy brings to a squad really does help.
It's a bit of cover at centre back as well, because you remember the season before he left, he was put back in the centre back in a back three,
Mm-hmm.
and he was
great
probably,
there.
those last 10 games. He's probably our best player.
Mm-hmm.
He was unreal. Yeah.
He just got the ball and drove, which was awesome.
Strength and power and pace, and it was fantastic.
To be fair, being our best player was quite a low bar, though.
Yeah, we were honking. Speaking of sort of square pegs and round holes in terms of players playing out of position, Kyrie's didn't start against Salford. We suspect maybe protecting him from this niggling shoulder injury that seems to be sort of going on with him. But Rob Hunt comes in. It wasn't a like-for-like swap. No one was really sure how the U's were going to line up when the team was announced. Did that selection decision have any sort of knock-on effect on how the game unfolded, in your opinion?
Yes and no. So the reason I think Danny's gone on and done it, yes, obviously we're talking about protecting Lisby, but I think there's also an element of, because we know Salford like to attack down the wings, and Lisby maybe doesn't give the defensive cover or the defensive work that potentially we were requiring. I think Danny was trying to play it safe with going, right, I'll put Vincent Young on the wing, who's got the pace to attack and got the defensive side of it, with then Rob Hunt in his natural fullback position. Would it have helped with Lisby on the pitch? I don't know. Like, for example, their equaliser, when Bishop lost the ball, it was on the right side with where Young and Hunt should have been covering. Both of them were out of position. Both of them lost their men to allow Stockton to get onto the ball and do what he did. So I don't necessarily think it would have changed the game defensively, but I do think at times when the ball was loose and being hoofed up the pitch, Lisby would have offered a lot more of his pace.
Yeah, we didn't really have an outlet
to that ball. So
when
you've had exactly like Dave said, you've had the outlet. Yes, you wouldn't have the defensive side, but the way we were playing anyway, we weren't really defending very well anyway. So that probably wouldn't have changed much in the game. So I wouldn't say it would have changed the goals, but it may have given us more chance to be creative and get players on the ball in order to sort of achieve more going forward. Afterwards, that period between their equaliser and Ellis's goal could have been a bit more open for us if we'd have had someone that was willing to get the ball and drive and attack.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, Dave, Rob Hunt comes in. Previous few weeks, he's been very good. He's played in the middle of midfield, and he's put a shift in. As Si said, he's gone back to his more natural role at right back. He sort of bore the brunt of a lot of the fallout for this result. The main reason is he concedes the penalty that makes it, that sort of turns the game. How big of a turning point was that in terms of the context of the game?
Well, she's actually in the second goal, and the way they scored it was a bigger turning point in the game that completely shifted the momentum. I don't know how you felt, Si, but the way we conceded that goal, I kind of, if I was a betting man, I might have had a sneaky fiver on what happening. But like I went back earlier, up until that point, I mean, the first hour, like we spoke about, that was what we predicted would happen. We all said 3-1, didn't we? Well, I think you said 2-1, but we said 3-1. When that goal went in, it was exactly the game I thought, because we did really well the entire back four. Because their goal was an error, and we don't. And their wingers are excellent. really, really good. And I can see why. I agree with you, so I think that's probably what Danny was thinking with maybe this can be the game to rest Lisby and get sort of more defensive structure in there with Kane, Vincent Young and Hunt. But they look really good. But apart from goal, I don't remember them having a clear chance. Macy made a couple of saves from long-range shots.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember there being many other clear opportunities. So we sort of, the game went how we wanted to. We knew with them doing that and pushing so high, we get the opportunities, and we scored 3 good goals. I know it was a rebound that came out to Anderson, the first one, but the play before then to give Reed the shooting opportunity, it was a really nice bit of football. Second goal, great persistence by Ellis. And then the third goal was an absolute great play by Sampson, got his head up. He is really developing that part of his game, got his head up, nice little ball, and what a strike, Arthur Reed. And then, and then the last 30 minutes happened. But unfortunately, it's like I said, it was death by 1,000 cuts. But the clearest one was Rob Hunt rugby tackling the guy to the floor.
Yeah,
we didn't need to. So that's the optics, because it was pretty solid up until then. Strong, steady, like he is. But it's and again, just to repeat what I said earlier, I think a player of his experience, you could almost give, if Powell had done that, for instance, you'd go, right, he's learning the game. But I think Rob Hunt should be able to spot, have a bit more situational awareness there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think it was not the sort of challenge you really should be making when the cross has been overhit, and it wasn't what you come to expect from an experienced player like Rob Hunt. But then there were also other moments in the game that didn't involve Rob Hunt at all that also contributed to the result. Gab, you've already mentioned the lack of depth and those sort of concerns, particularly with how late the subs were made as well. A lot of the subs were made as we were chasing that equaliser really late in the game. We've got Tom Flanagan out long term, probably for the season, given the severity of the injury. We've got Ben Perry out for the season as well. You've got the central midfield and central defence areas, which at the moment they're being covered by young players making their first steps in the professional game.
Do you know when Jaden Williams is back as well, Aaron? Or is he?
He just wasn't in the squad.
He just wasn't in the squad. Jaden seems fit. Yeah. Jaden played against West Ham.
Right, I see. I suppose from my point of view, there's probably, looking through this squad at the moment, I would say you've got about 15 players there who I would say you would be really happy to go into the second half of the season with. Maybe 1 or 2 more than that. But I would probably imagine that you're looking at another 4 or 5 additions to make sure that you've got a really competitive squad going into the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I agree there. I think, Dave, we've spoken about this before, where we've spoken about sort of the central defensive areas and the central midfield areas, as well as potentially another fullback could be the sort of areas that we're looking to plug.
Yeah.
I'll go around the panel. Is there anyone that you guys are sort of looking at and thinking maybe?
Well, it's the thing we've spoken about him before. The thing is, we're not going to be able to pay transfer fees for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So, and especially for established League 2 defenders. But, an absolute dream signing would be Tranmere's right back.
Cameron Norman.
Oh, Cameron. Yeah.
He is. He's fantastic, and he's almost a machine tool to be a Cowley player.
Yeah.
Strong, direct, a bit of quality as well on the ball. So he'd be a dream sign, because I think, we need cover in defence and midfield, but I think we do need a right back.
Sorry, I think Cameron Norman was at Kings Lynn earlier, so that's not a million miles away from Colchester.
Was he?
So you never know.
No, we missed out.
Lure him over from a geographical angle, then you never know.
Well, that can make a big difference. You see it all the time. Players I mean, ultimately, that's why Connor Hall came to us, wasn't it? Because he wanted to be closer to his family.
Mhm.
And that's why it's actually, we were in, Gab, you mentioned Jamie Ingy earlier. I think the story was, we were actually in for him, but he'd just signed an agreement on a flat. So he had to stay in the north. So it's things like that, isn't it, that lead to, that makes a difference. But I think, we cover centrally, but I do think we should be actively looking for another fullback.
Mm-hmm. Si, what are you thinking?
I think we are going to tap into the loan market. There's no two ways about it. The problem with January is if you're looking to buy, you're going to play with the odds because clubs know you almost not say panic buying, but you're trying to buy to strengthen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a necessity buy. So clubs obviously can add a fee, if you like, just for that reason. So we're going to end up looking at the loan market. I can see us doing a very much what a Danny and Nicky thing of finding a young player from somewhere who maybe we haven't necessarily heard of, who ends up being really good. And Mike Renbick's a prime example of this. Everyone put him down. Oh my God, it's his last days. Window is a panic loan signing. What's going on here? And it's like, wow, where do we find this guy from? So I think we're going to have to trust Danny and Nicky to done the research on players who may be in the younger age groups of clubs or players that we're not necessarily on our radars or even maybe the pundits' radars to come in and do a job and everyone go, wow, yeah, another one we found.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that. Gab, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's really important to be able to find players. I think it's a real skill to be able to find players in the loan market at clubs that aren't that big. Because if you go to Chelsea or Brighton, you can almost assume that they're good just by having that name attached to them. Whereas someone like Charlton, I actually think they do happen to have a really good academy actually, but because they're in League One last season, only a Championship club, loaning from a Championship club doesn't feel hugely exciting in the same way. But in Mbik's case, he'd scored in the 23-24 season, I think it was 40 goals for 3 different age groups, and he had featured a few times in Charlton's promotion winning season from the bench, and actually I think he featured in the playoff final. And he'd been training with the first team, and all those sorts of nuances. I think if you can do your due diligence and you're well connected in the game, and you have that inside track, then you tend to land on better deals. Whereas if it was someone who was sort of just randomly in Charlton's academy, the chance of them being successful in League Two would have been a lot lower. So again, I think that speaks to Danny and Nicky and the amount of research they do, which I go back to they're really meticulous in the work they do, and club's certainly in safe hands in that regard.
Did you see we're currently in this doom spiral of Charlton maybe recalling Mbik. They've got 4 strikers out on loan. But did you see yesterday? I heard when I got into the car, we're driving back and the scores were coming in. Did you see Kanu smashed one in for Walsall yesterday? And I thought,
you're saying,
oh, that's good.
Charlton recalling.
That's good. Yeah, look at that guy. He just smashed one in from 20 yards.
You want to recall him? Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be the one.
Well,
I think they're more likely to recall him, to be fair. He's done it up in League One as well, hasn't he? So they're much more likely to recall him.
Well, Walsall have had a striker loan recall in each of the previous 3 seasons.
Yeah,
so
really hampered them last year, didn't it?
Yeah, let's for your point of view, I'm sure you'll be hoping that they're stung again. I do have a big picture question for you if this is a good time for it.
Go for it.
Perfect. Because there is obviously a bit more optimism around the club with the Cowleys. The atmosphere at the games, from what I can gather, seems to have improved. It's the Blue and White Army. Everyone's kind of come together.
That is the understatement of the century, that there's a bit more optimism against the Cowleys. It is, night and day.
Absolutely. So I suppose in that vein, Dave, I'm kind of wondering, has that put some of the question marks around Cowling that we'd have had this conversation around quite vociferously a couple of years ago? Has that gone to the back burner, do you think?
So in regards to...
Yeah, so, well, I suppose when you're doing better on the pitch and there's a lot more optimism in the manager...
Oh, yeah, there's still... When we were having a bad run at the start of the season, there were, you could still see like online and stuff. There were still people sort of questioning it, and it was, to be honest. I mean, we won one of the first 10 games, I think,
That probably
and it
drew a lot,
was.
I think.
Yeah, and it was a valid question to ask. You know, would other managers have more questions asked about them? But at the same time, I think I think I speak for Aaron and Si, and I think I speak for the vast, vast, vast majority of the fan base, where they are our biggest asset, and we recognise that, and everything they've done, and everything we're doing in the players they brought. You know, without the Cowleys, we probably wouldn't be able to watch Jack Payne and Teddy Bishop playing for Colu. So yeah, I mean, what they bring and what they've done, and just how, you know, they're absolute masters of sort of that fan engagement. So
they've done it so well at all the other clubs. Yeah,
exactly.
Really well
yeah, and it is at every club, even the ones that didn't go quite that well. It was when we appointed them, it wasn't you didn't see any negative comments from their old clubs. It was always, shut up. I really wished it had worked out.
And do you know what, Dave? Like, there are going to be people who would say, yeah, but it's what happens on the pitch that matters. And that's true. But especially at lower levels, where the reason to support Colchester United over Arsenal or West Ham that's on the doorstep is because you can have that connection, because
absolutely,
you can talk to the manager, and because, you know, you can feel that, you know, players will say hello, and there will be that connection. Really counts for something. I think Lincoln City fans will speak to, like, they're one of the favourite management teams they've had as supporters at Sinsel Bank, probably Braintree and Concord the same. So they always do it really well in terms of connecting with fans. And I think being skilled in that sort of non-league scene has helped them a lot in that regard. So they've not come into the Football League with the same maybe assumptions as other managers, and they've come in slightly differently. And I think that's really refreshing, and it's how football should be.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere that Danny and Nicky bring to the club as a whole is fantastic. You know, Danny puts his effort into fan engagement. He puts his effort into working with the community foundation. And when I spoke to former manager Roy McDonough earlier on in the season, he made a point of saying that when he took over as manager, the club was very disjointed. They were facing a second season in the conference, and if they didn't go up, there was a real possibility of they wouldn't continue as a club. And the first thing he did was create a family type feel between the fans and the players. And I think Danny and Nicky have come in and pretty much done the same thing. You know, everyone was on board. It wasn't a name that we were expecting to get, especially after having so many internal candidates for a period. And then we took a punt on Matt Bloomfield that obviously ended prematurely with him going to Wickham. We took a punt with Ben Garner, who had a bit more experience, and it didn't quite work. And we thought, well, if he's gone down that avenue and spent a bit more money on a manager and it's not worked, maybe he's going to go back down and use one of the academy managers to fill that gap as previously demonstrated. But the fact that Robbie went for Danny and Nicky Cowley speaks volumes about what Robbie's intentions are for the club. He's come in for an awful lot of stick over recent years, some of it justified, some of it not. But I think if you weren't hoping that Colchester United were going to progress as a club and an entity, you wouldn't have got Danny and Nicky Cowley in as your management team.
I think the question sort of remains. I suppose it's great that they've got the Cowleys involved. I suppose the direction of travel, is there a belief that the club can make sustainable progress under Cowling, or
well, I think with the takeover rumours are obviously are causing a little bit of stagnation. I mean, we've spoken about going into January, and you know, we don't know what the budget is. We don't know if Danny's got any money to spend. Robbie has made it very clear that the purse strings are tight this season and that he is looking to sell. So that will have a direct correlation with how we do on the pitch. Danny and Nicky are very, very good at what they do, and they're very, very good at working within tight constraints. But League Two is a competitive league and it's very, very difficult to get out of. So when you've got sort of one arm time behind your back, it does make things a bit more challenging.
But at first, you mentioned about the squad, Gab. Where we are at the moment, so that first 11 that you would have as a first 11, sort of Lisby starting, Jack Payne in there.
Sure.
I think that first 11 can beat any team in that league.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think that, and with Reed and Bishop playing well together behind Jack Payne, and the way Jack Tucker stepped up this year, Ellis, Ian Dolo, in my opinion, I think a lot of people's opinion is the best left back by a distance in the division.
Yeah.
I think we are. That 11 is a promotion 11. But yeah, where we lose some of those and we have to sort of square pegs in round holes, maybe lack a bit of depth. That's what's holding us back. So we're on a bit of a. So the squad we got that has been built is good enough with a bit of luck. But then after this, and this is something we'll probably start talking about in January, Aaron and Si, a lot of our significant players are out of contract at the end of the season. Really significant, probably 6 or 7 of us, that starting 11 out of contract.
So the takeover is going to be huge.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so in an
Yeah.
ideal world, that is in place. But yeah, so that's sustainability wise, we're not sure. So almost this year feels like one. And again, we've spoken about in previous pods. MK squad is on a slightly higher level, I think, but everyone else in that top 15, any of them could finish in the top 3.
Agreed.
Depending on how they time their run this season.
Yeah.
So this season feels like a real opportunity, but then how we go on is is a bit up in the air at the moment.
There's also one thing we do have to blame for the Salford defeat as well, is the manager of the month curse.
Yes,
We haven't
of
brought that
course.
into the equation, have we? So can we just sort of put it down to manager of the month and done and dusted.
Rob Hunt's raging that the manager of the month hasn't been blamed.
Yeah,
He's absolutely fuming.
There we go. Let's play manager of the month curse. We lost at Salford. We're going to move on and bat at Newport. How about that?
Yeah, I
It's
think
not
it's
because
brilliant.
Dom Gape was asked to mark Kelly in May. It's because
Yeah, ignore that. And there was one amusing moment in the second half where I can't remember who was fouled, but it was near the edge of the box,
Mm-hmm.
and like everyone sort of did the same joke. Don't give the penalty. Don't give the penalty. We don't want it. We don't want it because we would have missed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to have a free kick for us than a penalty. So that was a nice little moment of levity as the game slipped away from us.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's important to take hold of the good moments. I think when you've travelled all that way for a 12:30 kickoff and lost. Before we move on to the Newport game, I've put it out there for a one-word review of the game. Steve went with naive. Peter went with hunted. Rachel went with frustrating, John went with caved, and Gav went with roller coaster. Si, one word to sum up the Salford defeat.
And I've checked this on the Microsoft word count. It is one word: self-inflicted.
Look at that, like a Rachel Riley of the podcast. There, dictionary corner. I like it. That is brilliant.
Yeah, Rachel Riley's numbers.
Is she? Who's
Susie
the one?
Dent, Susie
Dent. You can tell I don't watch Countdown.
You said you'd done a research, Aaron. You clearly haven't because you don't know your Countdown.
I don't know. Yeah,
presenters.
I don't know my Countdown presenters. Although are they presenters or contributors? Who knows? We're going off on a tangent. Dave, one word.
Perplexing.
I
still can't quite explain it.
Which would be too long for Countdown because
yes, it
longer
would.
than 9.
It would, but unless you go Street Countdown. For the
No,
episode of the
I
IT
thought
crowd.
we were going down.
Yeah. To Netnaba. But I think
numerousness.
yeah. But perplexing. Just it's hard to explain what happened, but sometimes football's like that. And I think, just to summarise, there was a lot of frustration, the reaction to it. But I think ultimately, and sorry to do a bit of a summary in your one-word snappy section, Aaron, but I think ultimately we've shown, going forward, we've got to take that on the chin. We've shown continuously we are a team that can go away to good teams and score goals, 2 or 3 goals. I also think we've shown we're a team who will not concede 4 stupid goals every year. So that's a hump in the road. I think we've still shown we show what we can do, and I still think we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I like it. Gab, have you got a one word from a sort of League Two viewpoint?
Just wondering what those 2 people humping in the road.
That's is that where your mind has gone straight away? Gab? I might as well just go speed pod.
No, I think obviously it's a setback, but I think that there's a really good core of players there. And again, I think it's the right 4 or 5 additions in January is going to make all the difference.
Yeah, definitely. Are you going with setback? I like that one for
Setback. Yeah,
setback. I like it. And obviously, we've looked back at the Salford game probably enough. We'll look forward to the Newport county fixture, which on paper is probably one of the more winnable games in the league. Gab, Newport currently sit bottom of League Two, 3 league wins so far. I mean, how have they ended up in this position?
Well, do you know what it is? I think Newport, under Hugh Jenkins, who was part of Swansea City's the Swansea Way rise, and I think he's tried to initiate something similar at Newport. But the problem is, when you want to implement a plan at a club, you've kind of got to do something that's aligned with maybe the core principles and foundations and I don't know if values is the right word, but Newport County for me have always been a club that suits, it's a tight ground, it's a vocal fan base, it kind of suits up and atom football. And I think if you want to play pretty football, I don't know if you're going to, they've not got a huge amount of money behind them, so I don't know if you're going to get the players to do that. And I think they've made mistakes. I think they've gone for rookie coaches who might be talented, but maybe don't have the minerals to be successful, where people like Justin Edinburgh at Newport County, Michael Flynn, and even briefly somebody like Graham Coughlin, I think those people have proved a better fit for Newport County, where maybe these kind of up-and-coming coaches who might be talented just aren't quite a right fit for the DNA of the club. So I think that's why they're struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think, and obviously they've brought in a very new manager in Christian Fuchs, which we'll get onto a bit later. But Si, obviously after the defeat to Salford, there was a few costly individual errors. Do you see there being changes made for this one, or do we broadly stick with the same side?
I think the changes we made, Lisbeth back in the 11, and I could see Jack Payne starting back at home on our pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be the potential changes. Then Vincent Young will go back to right back and provide Rob Hunt on the bench. But this is one of these sort of games that's a bit nervy because, as we will probably allude to in numerous pods before and stuff, traditionally we've done well against the good sides in the league. It's been the season's poorer sides that we struggled against. So it's going to be quite a test of character to come off the back of the Salford performance in the way we lost the game. Saying come up against a side who I think that people will be expecting us to struggle against in a really weird way. So I think we are going to have to make changes, and we've got to come out on the front foot like we're getting used to now, with the fast starts, the wide players, get the ball out to Disby, get the ball out to Transon, let's look to cut back inside to big to Sampson. But obviously the only drama we are going to have, if Payne is back, how are we going to fit him back inside with Sampson and Embick playing as the sort of pivots they've been doing? So potentially I could see Sampson potentially going back to the bench, which will be very unfair on him because he's played really well when he's come into the side, but we need to get Jack Payne back into the side. So you're not going to drop Reid or Bishop. So he's probably the likely candidate to put Payne in his 10 and Vincent, you go back into right back, and Lisby back into the right hand side on the wing.
Yeah, I think very, very fair. Would be harsh on Samson Tavide, but yeah, who do you get rid of to make room for Jack Payne? It's a really difficult puzzle to put together. Dave, confidence has obviously taken a bit of a knock probably after that performance against Salford. What do you think the key messages that you'd want from Danny going into a home game against bottom of the league Newport?
I'm not so sure Comms was taking a knock. I think it's not a, like I said, we scored 3 good goals away from home at a very good side. And we've tripped ourselves up with basic errors. So I think that's the message. Just carry on. Carry on. Cut those basic errors out. They can do it. Show a bit of character to come back. You know, I think, and again, going back to what Danny and Nicky have brought in, one thing that the team didn't have when they came, but what they do have now is character. And the latest good run sort of started after that very similar game, actually, Fleetwood, where we were good, really good, until we weren't. And then we conceded 4 goals. And that's when the run started. Almost things sort of clicked then, became a bit of almost became a point of principle to not be that sort of team. I don't think they are that sort of team. So I don't think their confidence will be dented by that. I think it'll be a frustration. I do expect to see a response. I think we'll go at Newport. I watched Newport. I've seen highlights of the games, and I watched their FA Cup game against Boreham Wood. I'm going to jinx it. They're a poor team. They're a really poor team. And they had a man sent off yesterday, and I think he's quite a significant player. Can't remember his name. I should have done some research, Aaron. So I apologise for knocking your research earlier.
That's all right, mate. No worries.
But they had a man sent off yesterday, so they'll be without him. But no, I think Danny will be just show who you are, because that last half an hour wasn't the team we recognised. That first hour was. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Spellman got sent off. Sorry,
Spellman.
Yeah.
I feel like he's an important player.
I think you're right. I think that sort of rallying cry is probably what we need to sort of get us going and up for it, and really go out of the blocks quickly against a side probably almost definitely low on confidence in Newport County. But obviously, Gab, we spoke about Christian Fuchs. I said we'd come back to him. Reasonably inexperienced, particularly in the management side of things in the Football League. Obviously, he was a fantastic player, Premier League winner. Doesn't necessarily translate to management. What kind of impact do you think Fuchs is going to have?
I don't know, but I think that what worries me a little bit is he's somebody who's come over from America. I think he'd been coaching either in America or Canada or something like that. And I think that's quite dangerous. I think I would probably go for somebody who's a bit more experienced and has a knowledge of the league. I think when a team's struggling, going for a young rookie who's not even been working in the country, I think that's quite a dangerous move. Now, it could be completely wrong, he could be amazing, but that feels like a bit of a risk. So I would probably expect Newport County to go down. I also think Harrogate are going to be in trouble this season.
I agree. I think those two are really in trouble,
which is devastating for you, Dave, because
we're gonna have to buy all of the food.
Oh, the food's so nice. Have you been to Harrogate, Gab?
Oh, I've been to Betty's tea shop. Any or tea?
No, in the ground.
In the ground.
Forget Betty's. In the ground.
Food in the ground's unreal.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. We're going to do a special bonus pod. We should do that on Harrogate, because it might be the last one for a while if they go down.
What, do like a food review?
Yeah, an off menu version, off Barside.
So that means between us, we've got to go through the whole menu, Dave.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, we wouldn't regret it.
Yeah, no, I think that is a great idea for content. It was at Charlotte FC that he was coaching at, Gab. It's always an unknown entity. You feel like, maybe they haven't quite got the shrewdness and the grit to maybe keep a side up in League Two. You look at the more traditional stalwarts of the league, like your sort of Martin Allens, and you think, yeah, that sort of type of managers who you'd want to go for.
You look at
Didn't
Cheltenham
think you
have
say
got-
Martin Allen.
Sorry?
I didn't think you'd say Martin Allen.
Big
No, he's
fan of
more-
Martin Allen. Obviously,
He's
I know
more
he's
like
not
National
really
League, isn't
managing
he?
now, but
Barnet, he was at Barnet in their National League all the time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
he did a job at Notts County, did a job at Brentford. Martin Allen,
But Bloomfield's
great
looking for a
work.
job.
He is, yeah. I mean, let's not write Christian Fuchs off already. I mean, and start, pitching Matt Bloomfield for the role. Although Matt Bloomfield has been linked with a League Two job within the last week or so. Is it Barrow?
I think it's the only one, isn't it? That's available.
Yeah, so that was before Bristol City got rid of their manager.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He's more likely to go there because he came to us, didn't he? Wickham, us, and Luton, because it was all local to him. So obviously Bristol City would be damn sight more local to him than Barrow.
Yeah, I mean, neither are great, mate.
Yeah, still not
neither are
local.
great. But fair play. Home form has picked up at JobServe Community Stadium. It started a little bit sort of inconsistent. We seem to have found our groove. Do you feel like this is the right fixture for the youth to bounce back?
Yeah, I think it will be, to be fair. It's like we already alluded to, they're not obviously on great form, they're low on confidence, they're still trying to find their ideal setup and their style of play for this season, especially under the new manager, how they're going to go about that. So I think it's a time for us to kind of go back to playing our way in front of our own fans and put a bit, not say a statement, because I don't think a statement winning against bottom of the league is really what you're going to get, but more just to put the fact down that, right, we're drawing a line under Salford. That was the blip, the bump in the roads we've alluded to, and now's the time to show we can put that behind us and go back to the attacking side that we know we can be and get rid of these errors.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's probably fallen at a decent time to play the side bottom of the league. But then again, as we've alluded to on many episodes of this podcast, the sides that aren't in form are usually the banana skin that we tend to slip over traditionally, and we tend to beat the sides like Walsall and Notts County that we have no business beating. That is Colchester United in a nutshell. But Dave, obviously the fixture comes the Saturday before Christmas. Traditionally, it's a lower gate than usual. People have other things to do. They're sort of watching how much they're spending. If they've not got a season ticket, spending nearly 30 quid on a ticket probably isn't a priority at that point. How much does atmosphere matter during games like this? Is the South Stand going to have to be a little bit louder than usual?
I think so, and I think another thing will also have to be patient. If we don't get an early goal, if it's one of those games where we're knocking on the door, gonna have to just stay behind them, because it really is noticeable when it goes from sort of. It's always really good before the game, but sometimes when we do get games where we are maybe struggling a little bit, the tension sort of cascades down to the pitch. So we might have to be patient. But yeah, I think hopefully it will still be a decent crowd. I mean, cause I think part of it might be it's a game that people are expecting us to win.
Mm-hmm.
So that might draw a few more people in, hopefully. But yeah, run up to Christmas. This times are tough for a lot of people. So I understand if some people choose not to go. But yeah, I still think we'll have a decent crowd. South Stand will be in full voice. And the East Stand will be in full voice with the little kids shouting 6-7 when it gets to the 67th minute.
And you, obviously,
how they
you're
coordinate
an East Stand person as well.
Well, yeah, I'm on my feet, just fight to get them going, But it really surprised me the other week. The first time it happened, they just did it. This is like high pitch 6-7. Okay, that's annoying, but the coordination for a group of 9-year-olds was quite impressive, to be fair. But yeah, I think it'll be a good atmosphere. I think we're really going to go at them, and I think if if we can start Charlotte, get an early goal, obviously, it'd be great. Goes without saying. If we can just be on the front foot and be really intense, I think that'll get everyone behind the team.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's got all the makings of a nice little bounce back from Colchester United. Obviously, the reaction to the Salford game was quite strong in the immediate aftermath.
It's a really emotional way to lose, isn't it?
It really was, and I think it was reflected in our sort of response to that. Not us specifically, but the general sort of fan base, and it's understandable that we sort of went from promotion contenders to mid-table fodder to, some people suggesting we may even cease to exist in years to come. So it was a broad spectrum of reactions, but I think a nice win over Newport would potentially calm the nerves and send people into the Christmas period with a bit of a smile on their face. And what we'll do is we'll end on a little bit of a prediction. It's quite nice because with Gab, we've got a neutral prediction, so he can predict that we'll lose and not feel bad about it, which is a nice situation to be in for you. I've predicted that we won't win a couple of times, and I've sort of felt dirty whenever I've done it. So you have the luxury of not feeling that way, but you can predict for us to win as well, Gab. Si, we'll start with you. Score prediction for Newport.
4-1.
4-1.
Win.
4-1 win. Who's going to score?
Lisby, Anderson, Reed and Payne.
Lisby, Anderson, Reed and Payne. I like it. Dave, what are you going for?
I'm going big as well. I'm going to say 4-0.
4-0?
I really think we're going to get them.
We'll concede.
No, I really think we're going to get them. I think we're going to have our usual back four, which I think is a little bit more solid. But no, I really think we'll see the team stand up. I think Lisby will score. I think Mbick will get back on the score, and I think Jack Payne's going to score 2 penalties.
2 penalties. That would be funny.
Imagine
after all of the penalty stuff that we've had. Yeah, we're not good at scoring penalties, Gab. I don't know if you're aware of that, but we've missed a few, particularly recently. Although, Si, you've predicted that we'll concede. Dave, you've predicted a clean sheet. Gab, have they got many attacking threats from a Newport perspective?
They got a lad called Sammy Braybrook in midfield, who's a big talent. Probably one to look out for. I think he's their number 44, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, let me just check. Yes, he is. So yeah, he's probably one to keep an eye out for. But I'm going to go with 2-0 to the U's.
2-0 to the U's. Have you got a goal scorer in mind?
I'm going to go with Kyrese Lisby and maybe Will Goodwin off the bench.
Oh, I like that.
I'll do it. To be fair, good if he could score at home, that'd be really good for him.
Although it doesn't. I like a rogue one. I like that you haven't just gone for Micah or Tavida, as we often do. Will Goodwin, it would do his confidence the world of good to come on.
It would,
score.
But it's interesting, sort of just going back a little bit. I agree with your assessment of what the team will be, Si. I think it's a game where you have to bring Jack Payne back in. And I think Mbick starts. Unfortunately for Samson to go on the bench. Where does that leave Goodwin?
Yeah.
So that's the conundrum for Danny, isn't it?
It's a good position to be in, though. 3 very good strikers, all vying for a place in the starting lineup. I can't recall a season where Colchester have been in that position where we've got some good goal scorers trying to get on the pitch.
The conference winning season.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. Maybe.
Masters McGavin McDonough.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think you're probably right with that assessment. I can't think of it.
I'm trying to think who would come off the bench. When it was Cuton and Iwelemo, who was the next one? I'm trying to think.
Vernon?
Yeah, Vernon probably.
Scott Vernon would have been.
Jamie Guy.
Jamie Guy would have been in that championship season as well. Yeah,
he scored against Cardiff, didn't he?
He did. And he came on played quite well against Sunderland. Hogan F. Raham, I believe we had on loan as well from QPR. We had a few, but they weren't really touching Big Chris and Jamie Curran that season. Dave, Gab,
hang on. You stop trying to get over your score prediction.
Oh yeah, spit it out.
See, this has happened to me
before. He tries to do it again,
didn't
he? He tries to if I talk about something else, we'll slowly.
Yeah. So Gab, Aaron's the highlight of Aaron's podcasting career was when we played MK in the FA Cup. He predicted that one of the teams would go through.
Yeah, I did. I believe what I said was one of the teams.
One of the teams will score and go.
One of the teams will score and go through, wasn't it? It's
and that's why
how cup knockout games work.
What I'd actually said is that it would be pretty much a dead heat for the first 70 or so minutes, and then both teams would make lots of changes.
I cannot believe you're still doing it.
Either team would be able to win it, meaning either team has the potential to go through.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
That's how cup games work.
That's exactly what I said. That's how every game works.
Yeah.
When you've made that many substitutions, form goes out the window, and I stand by that.
Anyway, you're doing it again. You're basically trying to talk your way out of your prediction. What are you going for?
No. I will defend that point to the hill.
Anyway, predict this game, please.
I think we'll win 3-1, and I will go for Lisby and Bick, and I'll go rogue. I'll go Vincent Young.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. We'll allow you to wrap it.
We got there, didn't we? We got there.
We did get there. Although I quite like this format of us just flowing through the review and the prediction. I really enjoyed that. Dave, Gab, thank you very much for joining me on this week's podcast, and I hope to speak to you all very soon.
Cheers, guys.
And there you have it. That is another episode of Beyond the Barside done and dusted. Huge thank you to Sai, Dave and Gab there for their insights and input, and a huge thank you to you, the listener, for joining in as well. Feel free to leave a comment on this episode, especially if you're tuning in on YouTube or Spotify. It just sort of boosts us onto people's homepages a bit more and brings more eyes and ears to the podcast itself. So if you were able to do that, we would be truly grateful, and maybe a Christmas present for the lads to get more people involved with the podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Up the U's.